Hi, this is Sarah with Calypso Moon. I just wanted to bring you guys a message really quick, just to get a resonance check in. First, I just wanted to thank all my subscribers. I know you guys probably look at my subscribers and be like, well, you ain't got that many, but I do want to thank the people who did take the time to subscribe, who watch my videos. I really appreciate you guys so much, and if I could reach just one person, I feel like, and affect some change in them, or make a difference, then I feel like I've done what I was supposed to do. Get them to think differently, get them to understand what's going on, help them in some type of way. I've done my job. So I am grateful for you guys, though. Thank you so much. This is a message basically for the people who are seeing 1111, the wake up call. Anybody that's resonating with the starseed energy, anybody that's resonating with the light worker energy, anybody that's resonating with the twin flame, these are all terminologies that I think somehow culminate back into just one thing, but this is just the different levels of understanding that people have come to know these things on. So I invite those people to heed this message, because I've been called to bring this message to you guys. I do want to call you guys' attention to just a moral compass check right now. I want you to check what's going on in the outside world, whether this is the dynamic of the whole world, or just your city, just your town, or just your inner circle of friends and family. Check what's going on in your outside world, your outside environment, and see if that matches up with how you feel on the inside. Because I don't know about you guys, but I do keep up with world events. I keep up with alternative news. I keep up with media news too. I try to keep up with a lot of things, because why wouldn't we? We live in this world. We should be informed about what's going on, obviously. But I try to check to see, am I paying enough attention to what's going on in the outside world, or am I stuck in my own little environment here? And when I start getting stuck in my own little environment, I start getting these nagging feelings of urgency, like I'm being called to take action. And this action I can't stop taking, so I'm moving forward with it. So I hope you guys will join me on this journey, because it's time. Okay, so I wanted to start off with making sure we're resonating together when I do my tarot videos. Make sure that the information that I'm giving across to you guys is something that you're understanding when I'm explaining the advice, when I'm explaining, what with different words and terminologies that people might watch. You might be a beginner tarot watcher, you might not even started in esoteric knowledge or anything like that. This could be your stepping stone. So you might not understand when I say meditate or go within. You might be having questions like, well, how do I know if I'm doing it right? What is it? Why do I need to do it? What's the importance of meditating? And that's one of the topics that I wanted to broach today, is meditation, because if I'm going to start explaining anywhere, that's where I'm going to start at, because I feel like that's the foundation, that's the most important component of moving forward to manifestation, or any other type of control that we're going to be doing for ourselves here. Self-control, self-mastery, self-discipline, all those things. It's all going to start with meditation, being able to control your thoughts and clear your mind. That basically is the goal of meditation, is to clear your mind. And you're like, how do I do that? If anybody has ever tried to meditate, I'm sure you've all come to the same conclusion, that these thoughts just keep coming and coming and coming. And it's like, how do I stop them? How do I control them? And then you try to be forceful with it and stop and control them, and then you just start having more thoughts. Well, am I controlling it? Have they stopped? And, so it's just like a whole thing. At least that's how it's been for me. I don't know. You guys can comment down below if you want to share your experience about meditation, if you tried it, if you've never heard of it, if you know what it is, and if you know how to do it and you're a Zen master, please leave the recipe down below. But for me, that's where I'm at. So one of the things that I've been trying, since I can't just sit there and completely clear my mind, I'm like, there has to be a starting place with this. So my starting place is starting basically with deep breathing, because with some of the manuals and things that I've read, controlling the breath is the beginning. So, and that's really hard too, but So deep control breathing and observation of thought are two things that I'm going to touch on. So yeah, I got all my notes right here. So all right, so basically, like I said before, the goal of meditation is being able to control your thoughts. And once you continue on this path, or if you're already past that point, then you understand why that is so important. Being able to control your own thoughts, recognize what thoughts are actually yours and what thoughts aren't. That's going to be one of the most important things moving forward if you're going to continue on this path to self-mastery, manifestation, and just being a co-creator of your reality. And if you didn't know that's what I'm on, that's what I'm on. But back to meditation. So we're going to talk about deep controlled breathing and observation of thought. How do you observe a thought? It's difficult because we have all these thoughts coming in, and it's like, am I thinking these thoughts? If I'm not thinking these thoughts, then who's thinking these thoughts? Well, you're the person observing the thought being thought, right? Being thunk. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. Listen to Eckhart Tolle. There's a couple other people that touch on that. But yeah, just start there. If that's too advanced for you, you can look back around about meditation, and it all comes back basically to the same thing: controlling thoughts, observing thoughts, all that fun stuff. So basically, when you have a thought, the way to observe it is to not judge it. You just notice it. You just put your awareness on it. Like, let's say I'm just sitting here watching TV and a random thought comes in my head about wanting to eat pizza. And it's like, where did that thought come from? Did I think that thought? Did my stomach think that thought? Or where did that thought come from? And that's just an example. I mean, if you're thinking about pizza, you probably are hungry. But I'm just trying to say, if you get a random thought, like, just observe it. Like, I just thought about pizza. Or pizza, just go back and, observe it. Don't judge it. Don't, move on to start saying, oh, I'm such a fat ass because I'm thinking about pizza. Or, just don't put any judgment on it. Just observe that that's what happened. Later on, you might, and even at that time, when you first do it, you're probably going to have questions like, yeah, where did that come from? Did I think that thought? Especially after hearing you can observe your thoughts. At some point, you're going to start really thinking more into it. Like, wait a minute. Because sometimes our thoughts do seem foreign to us. I know there's been times. And this is how we check if this thought is ours or not. So you observe the thought, and then that's just going to trigger a whole lot of other stuff inside of you. I like to play a game, Gat 'em. when I observe a thought and I'm just like, I know that I observed it, I give myself a point. Like, there's one, you know what I mean? And it starts adding up and accumulating. And this all leads back to being able to meditate. Trust me. You can't just cut your mind off. I feel like this is something that has to happen in stages. That's why people master. You have to master meditation. It's not something that you just do overnight, which is how I tried to approach the situation, and probably everybody else who sat down and tried to stop thinking. It's not going to happen like that, or unless you're, I don't know, a savant at it or something. I don't know. But for me, it just didn't happen like that. So this has been helping a lot. Controlling my breathing and observing the thought. To even get into a space to observe a thought, I have to take at least 3 deep breaths. At least 3. And one way that I've been able to get myself disciplined enough to take those deep breaths, because sometimes in society and with me, especially with everything that's going on, it's hard to just sit still sometimes. So I have to force myself to, take a deep breath, hold it, and let it out. Take another deep breath, hold it, let it out. I need to at least do 3 of those just to be able to, slow my mind down enough to observe a thought. So it's crazy, and we don't even recognize how much we're just going and going and going and going and going and going and going all the time. But once I get to that place where I'm calm, I've went towards God, I've held God within me, and God has come towards me, however you want to look at it, or God's come towards me, I've held God within and I've gone towards God. However you want to look at it, source, the universe, whatever your belief is, but you can look at it like that. That helps. But it controls all the thoughts. Like, it stops them. Like, when you focus on that breath, you hold it, you release it, trust me, it slows down. It does. Do that 3, 4, 5 times, however long you can discipline yourself for it to do it. And then that's when you can get into a space where things start slowing down. The thoughts start coming more, loud, I guess, but slower, to where you can see them. Like, you can put your awareness on them. You know what's happening. You just thought a thought. That's what I'm doing. You just thought that, so you're aware of it. That's just this is so. Trust me, I know it's out there. But now we have to get to the point where we've learned. We've recognized that we've thought a thought. We thought that we thought. So this is so confusing, but it really isn't. If you just take the time to really look at it and see it for what it is, you thought, you observed that you thought. Our brains are like computers, and they have the ability to be self-aware. Man, this is so much. I'm trying to explain it to you guys for the way that I can explain it, for the way that I understand it for myself. That's okay. So now that we've tried that a couple times, we've noticed and became aware of a thought that we've had. Now we can move on to the next thing. We breathed. We did deep, controlled breathing. We observed the thoughts, and the last thing that you need to do and understand is this my thought? And the way that you can check that, and I know that's so weird. Of course, it's my thought. It's in my head. It came in there. But that, especially if you're an empath or somebody who's really sensitive to other people's energies, it's not that easy that, oh yeah, that was my thought. No, it sometimes isn't your thought. Especially if you're a conduit, you have to be able to know what's yours and know what's not yours. So that could have been the thought of the society that's just been planted in your mind subconsciously. It's not your thought. Okay? I hope you guys follow me on that. That could have been a societal norm that you've been born into and has been embedded in your subconscious construct that's coming up and reoccurring in your mind, but it's not your thoughts. So the way that we can check the thought is you got to check in with your moral self. And that changes with everybody. Everybody has their own set of morals. I'm not trying to judge you. I'm not asking you to judge yourself. Our belief systems and our morals and stuff, those are personal things. And I'm not going to ask nobody to explain anything about what they personally believe or whatever standard they personally hold themselves to. That's not my place. But you know what moral standards you hold yourself to. You know how far you're willing to go. And if you don't, you really, really need to get a handle on that. You really, really need to come into awareness of where do you draw the line at. That's first things first. So you check with yourself. You check with your moral compass. Sometimes we have messed up thoughts that come in. And you think to yourself, like, there's no way I could have thought that. I would never do anything like that. Like, you know what I mean? But the thought just comes in. That's when you know. When you check, you have to check yourself. That's when you know, like, that's not me. You know what I mean? That's when you know that. Especially like when we're judging ourselves. I think those are the most profound thoughts right there that aren't ours. Because it's like, why would I ever, if I'm a person, a being, why would I ever, and my whole instinct is self-preservation and survival, why would I do anything that's harmful to myself? And having negative thoughts about yourself is harmful to yourself. It's detrimental. So that's another reason why meditation is important. This whole little 3-step process is very important, so you can start getting an understanding and an idea of how to control your thoughts, how to get into the process of doing it more often, and you know, realizing what's yours and what's not yours. That's going to start making it a lot easier to release those thoughts and not dwell on them, especially those self doubt, negative, self talking thoughts that you have that you tell yourself all the time. Those definitely aren't your thoughts. That's society's thoughts being put in your head, because you're not going to think anything about yourself that can harm you. You know what I mean? You're not. Whew, that, I feel like I just got a lot off my chest right now. I do. I guess that's where I'm going to leave it at. Some advice that I'm going to give you when you're going through this process, I'm just checking on my list to make sure I covered the main big points that I wanted to. But when you do start recognizing these thoughts and you start realizing what's yours and what's not yours, then you can start, you gauge what's yours. And you know, sometimes those thoughts get stuck though, when we have a negative self-thought like, oh, my neck is so fat, or whatever yours is, you know, whatever your negative self-thought is, and then that just keeps going and going and going in your mind sometimes, or other negative thoughts, whatever it is for each, everybody has their own, but those aren't your thoughts. And you have, once you start recognizing that, like, why am I thinking that? You start to ask more questions. You start to, you know, maybe do some shadow work, and we'll discuss what that is in another video. But when you do have those thoughts, you start recognizing you're having those thoughts. You start to filter out which thoughts are yours. Get rid of the negative ones. Let's just start there. Can't hurt. It can't hurt. Then you filter. You start filtering. Like, that's a negative thought. I don't need that thought. And if it keeps going and going, you redirect. You try to put your mind on something else that's positive. What works for me a lot of the times is when I try to, like, think, if I catch myself, you know, I'm playing my game, got him, I done caught myself thinking, I done caught myself thinking, or whoever that is thinking up there, whatever, but I done caught myself thinking, so I got him. And then if it's a negative thought, I try to redirect that thought into something, 3 positive things at least. Just off the top of my head, I named 3 positive things. It could be about myself. It could be about my environment. It could be about somebody else. It could be about the sky, whatever. 3 things that you want to recognize as positive. And that's how you redirect those thoughts. And once you start doing that enough, the longer you sit with yourself and you are able to take those deep breaths, the easier it is to control the flow of the thoughts. The slower they go, and the easier, the slower they come, should I say, and the easier they go. And I think that begins a type of flow until you get into a certain mastery. It's where you can actually, you know, take that thought to, or stop those thoughts, not take them, but just stop them. You know what I mean? Just like they're flowing so fast that they're not even happening. I think that's the way they want us to do it. That's the best way I can try to do it. And like I said, I'm still learning on this journey too. You know, I'm still learning a lot of stuff. So if you guys have any advice or any comments or any, you know, strategies that you use, please comment down below. Let me know. Let's share. That's what we're supposed to be doing here, right? So, but I did want to bring that word to you guys. I'm going to be bringing some other words to you too that I use in my tarot, so that it helps you understand how that works, and, you know, to implement the advice that's being given to you when you're watching other tarot readers as well. So like I said, I'm learning with you guys. If you want a free reading, I'm gonna put all that, not a free reading, if you want a reading, you can get the personal link down below in the description box. If you want to get free monthly reading, weekly readings for your zodiac sign, then you can subscribe to this channel. If you have any information you want to share with anybody else who's just starting out, you know, on this journey, the 11/11 wake up call, share it down below in the comment section. I do want to remind you guys that with great power comes great responsibility. So I think that's very important to know. Yeah, that was on Spider-Man, but it's still, the advice still applies. With great power comes great responsibility, and venturing onto this path is having great power. Nobody can change the world, but everybody can change themselves. So start there. All right, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you.